Hello anglers, I'm the Survivalist, and we're taking another look back at Call of the Wild, theAngler. The game recently came, well I shouldn't say recently, but I think like back towards like August, July timeline. The game came out with its full console release, and I got a lot of comments coming in to check out the game again fresh and see what they've done, because apparently the early start of the game has changed a bit, so I decided I'd oblige that with having tried out Ultimate Fishing Simulator. So we're going to see if Call of the Wild theAngler has improved it all to its like starting performance in that. In truth, there were a few bumps when it came to the early game for us trying the series last time. However, the bigger problem came like after you'd played a little bit through and you were more like freestyle on your own fishing, because then you came into the really formulaic problems of you could literally hone down by hook size, the fish sizing, or the fish rating to bronze, silver, gold, etc. There was also that progress felt really weird. Like, it had a decent curve, but then it hit a point where it felt like it was taking you forever and ever to get any currency in, to then keep getting gear and go up for higher and larger things. Then there's also the kind of issue where the first DLC for the game came out free, but only for a very limited time, and then DLCs after that you have to buy and pay for. It's been a turbulent time for theAngler, I think, but we're going to try, again, because of the comments that came in with this console release, taking a look back, and I'm also going to try playing it with a controller, or back proper with controller. It seemed like when I did play this the first time, it was more intended to be used, like, controller-wise to play, because there would be things like controlling the vehicle, a few of the rod techniques for fishing. They felt weird to do with the mouse, and again, for driving, it felt like you had to have the sensitivity of a joystick over just holding down a keybind. But we're going to go right back to Golden Ridge Reserve, see how the early game starts, and stuff like that. And this is different. Okay, so there's a play, there's the about, different fish species, the legendary fish and catch stats. Okay, so there's a few different things. I don't think there's actually been all that much changed for like saving your best catches or stuff. I think it is just like this, where you'll get a little bit of a readout. There's nothing like a lodge or cabin you have, or that you can like get replica mounts of like your catches. That was one thing that I did have an issue with when it came to the game, is it felt like none of what you really caught, you could really, like, hold on to in a way. But we'll hit play and see what we have in store. And, okay, truth be told,
David Johnson.
I guess this is a pre-rendered video. Oh, okay, yeah, it does make sense. It did have, like, reserve video or whatever you could watch on the previous screen. But the first time I played Call of the Wild theAngler, I thought this was like an in-game actual cutscene taking place. But no, this is a pre-filmed video in that.
Hours to cherish, and most importantly, hours to
but yeah, again, the game starts out really well, and I'm finding that's how it's been with a lot of the fishing games that I've done on the series. theAngler, Russian Fishing 4, I will admit as well, did start out. The tutorial was pretty poor, but once you got into float fishing, it went pretty well. And Ultimate Fishing Simulator is, it's almost like this weird curve, dip, and then probably curve again. Where it's like you'll hit the point where you're past the beginnings and basic stuffs, but then it kind of feels like there's this lull for a middle ground almost. And probably after so long in that lull, you'll hit a spiking point, and then things will go going up and increase again. And I don't know if it'll be like a cyclical of you'll keep going through that every so often, or it's just like there's this one weird lull point where interest just is kind of dwindling. It might be because it's the point where you've gotten used to the fishing so much that it kind of feels too the same, so it feels like you're just kind of repeating yourself instead. I'm not really too sure, but it's a pattern I've been noticing, and we'll see if Call of the Wild theAngler does have that to it still, or it changes, but there's a lot of things that I felt were really done strangely for it. We'll see how it's tackled now, what the console release and updates have done for it. I know they recently released another DLC map. I think this one was set in Spain for theAngler. But there's still a problem I have with the big open world aspects not feeling like it's utilized as much as it could be. Like, Russian Fishing 4 sort of has that itself too, but you can do extra things like, go dig up your own baits. You have workshops or things you can craft your own things with if you have skill points. I feel like that was one of the issues with the Angler's World, is it felt really hollow outside of the, like, the water. It had so much landmass and such a big map to go explore and see, but there wasn't that much that carried over from that side to actually the fishing aspect, or going out, trying to catch more fish, better species, trophies, etc. It's basically just spreading out all the content for you to drive along or go to another spot on the map. Okay, so let's see what we want to do. We'll just quickly go through and set some random bloke up. The hair still looks super weird in the game. That's one thing that I have to admit. Wow, there's only one style of hair or none. Okay, yeah, they really feels like they did not care too much when it came to, like, character customization. Oh, Lord, okay, what's... like, I don't even know where my hairstyle would fall with this. Like, it's definitely not that. I guess... that? Although, that looks like a green over everything. Maybe it's something where you'll buy new hairstyles or something. I don't really know. Okay, I think that's everything there. Yeah, so here we are out and about again. The graphics of the game are pretty good. I just want to make sure for the capture...
Sophia Taylor from Taylor's Tackles here, and I hear you're in need of a little fishing refresher.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you, you've come to the right place. Although another right place to go would be Taylor's Tackles.
Let me see.
Right
Desync on, I need. Motion blur, get that off. Okay. Yeah, I wish... Once you finish the tutorial, da-da-da-da. Okay, is there anything else I want to...
Step up to the pier, if you please.
I'm just going to try and see if I can get the game running a little smoother. Okay, let's see how it looks now. Okay, yeah, the game's much smoother now for frame rate and everything. The motion blur, I think, is a big one that really messes it up. But yeah, one of the weird things I found is, like, a lot of computer games are now assuming you're going to have the gamepad or a controller or something to be playing them with, which feels like you should instead, if you're going to release on mouse or on PC, you should assume the person is working off of a mouse and keyboard first of all.
So, let's start off with a simple cast. Keep those shoulders and hips square for me.
So it's left trigger.
Reel it in. Take your time. Get used to it.
And then, okay, so left trigger is reel in. And then right bumper is going to be speeded up. Yeah, see, already the casting feels a lot better than the weird thing you'd have to try to do with the mouse. Like, I can understand what the mouse they were trying to do with it, but I feel like they don't... They're thinking you have a lot more desk space or movement space around than just your mouse pad for it. Because the controls really do feel like they were intended for having a controller in mind with, like, what the shortcuts and the keybinds were. But so far, this is just like how it was before. It's supposedly, I think, once we get down to the actual dock and shop area. Oh. No, it struck too early, but that didn't reel it right in. So I wonder if this is the case again where we have to wait. Yeah, indicator says strikes. We're going to have something pop right up on screen from what we have to act. I think I was getting a little too focused with the feeling of... What was it? Not quite Russian Fishing 4, because that one you did have to wait and watch. Yeah, there we go. And just reel that right in. A mountain whitefish. Okay, we'll release that. Yeah, catching fish earn you XP and credits. Credits solid by new equipment. Enough XP level up. Okay, so it does say you do unlock stuff in the shop now for leveling up. That's one of the things that really should have been in the game on its first release, because it made no sense to be able to, like, super buy your gear while you were still low level if you just saved up the funds. Okay, I'm trying to think. How do I put the rod away? No, that's quick cast. That is to, I guess, quick menu. Oh, okay, that's it. But yeah, even when it comes to, like, the walking speed and everything, it really feels like it was inclined and based around you having a joystick for the sensitivity. But yeah, we'll try to speed things along, and now I thought it sent you to the lookout tower first, so maybe they have done a bit more of an overhaul to get you fishing more to start, and then expand, like, some of the other little options where it's like, visit the lookout towers to reveal more of the map, or the regions of the reserve, or stuff like that. But still looks good. There was one point that I always felt was kind of weird when it came to the discussions about the game, was that the water didn't look right.
The Central Reserve Outpost. This ain't just any outpost. You'll find all the bells and whistles here, like Taylor's Tackles, a brand new shop run by my friend Sophia. Other than that, you'll be able to find notice boards, storage lockers, a boathouse, and a garage for easy access to transportation, plus a flagpole for yourself.
Yeah, so let's keep moving along quickly. And see how things changed further. Okay, follow the path to the shop. No, there are still... Another thing was that you had these collectibles to find, but they never really mattered all that much. They were just, like, little, like, random... Again, collectibles that were tossed into the world is, like, I guess something if you wanted to go find, but they never really had any carryover to the main gameplay loop of the fishing. So it just felt a little strange that they were a thing. I mean, if I take a... let me see if I can find a quick look at that note. Actually, that's a good question. Where did I find that note, or where is it saved? Yeah, see, like, one of the things that you think would be good would be, like, for these little notes or something, they give little indications of, like, spots on the map that might have a legendary fish, or rare species of fish, or something. Or that could have been interesting, is the notes might give you hints towards finding, like, free tackle that's hidden on the map, and it would have, like, little treasure hunts. I know the first DLC, Troll Spirit, I think it was, you could find a bit of gear if you did go around the map to certain spots and, like, a treasure hunt, basically. But that, it was only, like, I think it was only 3 pieces, like a rod, reel, maybe even just a 2 or 3, I'm not, it wasn't a lot, I know, but it felt like a little bit, but not enough to warrant how big the maps could be, and just
nice to put a fish to a face.
And how
While
little
you're
there
here,
was.
Can I interest you in a bargain?
Okay, so talk to Taylor again. Okay, so we need to go there, equip the minnow, and go catch another fish. Yeah, so far it is par for the course is what it was. It sounds like once we get past the very initial tutorial, there's going to be a little bit more when it comes to, like, the specific fish catching. There might be more of the little ones to catch species than last time I played there was. Oh yeah, like... So, okay, well at least that might have a little bit more of an impact now, is because the collectibles do give you some experience, they'll help you level up and be able to, I guess, work at buying better gear and equipment. And we'll do that there. Yeah, again, it really feels like it was fully intended that you were going to be using a controller for that, because the cast out is so much easier. And actually, we'll catch a fish, and I want to check, because there was a setting where it's like accessibility casting or something that was either on by default or not quite. And actually, one of the things that I don't know is if, I mean, granted, the fish is so small we're catching, it doesn't really matter, but if you actually do have to maneuver the rod better for reeling them in. Oh, just a little black crappie. You can toss that back out. Baits, lures, hooks, well done. Swapping your bait lures, good strategy to use if you're not getting any bites or want to try catching different species. Chaining hooks will affect the size of fish that bite. Small fish will not bite bigger hooks. Okay, and let me just check. It was... I don't think it was under gamepad. I'm trying... Here we go, accessibility casting. So I'm going to try that off and just see what that does. And now we got to go to a different jetty. Okay, we'll quickly run over there and try to get most of the tutorial stuff done this episode. It's probably going to be a while until I do hit kind of the point where I felt the game got more of that, like, lull or problematic area. But it is still another fishing game, and I do have to admit, it is a very good-looking one, so there's not too much of an issue with coming around and trying some stuff out. Managing drag and line tension is important when catching bigger fish. Too much tension, line can snap. Too little, and the fish will start swimming away. Tension is viewed by the circle in the bottom right corner of the screen. Yeah, so I'm at 30% right now. And let's go say to that. God, yeah, that is... Okay, so that's what I think the game... I don't know if it defaults to having accessibility casting on or not. But from having the, having the gamepad, it makes so much more sense than having to try to work the mouse forward and back like I used to remember doing. So at least that's feeling much better. And might be... Ooh. It probably be... Or probably would be my recommendation. That if you are going to play, you do have a controller of some kind. On consoles, well, it's a given that you're going to have. You're going to have a controller to be playing with. Okay, just want to be careful on the last leg here, because this is actually giving us a decent fight. There we go. Okay. And that was a bronze smallmouth. Not too bad. We'll release that. That's another little step of that done. Yeah, well done. Higher drag increases the stopping power of your reel, preventing fish from taking line. Also increases line tension, which is double-edged sword. Higher tension will tire the fish faster, but also puts the line at risk of snapping. Sometimes fish will be too large for the gear and require stronger tackle. Like, I just want to see... Yeah, it feels so much better doing the long cast with the controller than mouse. So this is another one of those computer games that I almost feel like the computer launch was meant to be an early access launch in order to improve the console release. Because it does feel like it was intended entirely for this game to be a console game, with how the controls feel so much better with the gamepad or with an actual controller. It does make me think that when we do get to eventually doing the spin fishing and jigging and stuff like that, the weird thing of having to move the rod up, or move the mouse up to jig the rod and then back and down, like in that timing window, is going to feel much more natural with, like, what we've got. Oh. I can see a few fish swimming around. Truth be told, I can't remember if you could see them swimming around, or you would only really see the fish that was going to go to strike your line in the water. But we'll give this a little bit longer, just see if anything does strike it, and then we'll go greet the warden and try to get more tutorial completed. There we go. Yeah, we shouldn't have any problems reeling this in. We can even go to 30% for the drag. That should let us bring it right in. Oh, maybe not, actually. It's big enough that... Oh, yeah, that was too big for us. Okay. We won't worry about catching anything right now. I do like that Russian Fishing 4, it kind of business-wise makes sense why you lose your gear and stuff if the line snaps, because they're trying to get you to spend your money or time to rebuy your equipment, which, considering how a fishing game does play in that, it does feel, well, you kind of see that it is for the money more than the player's experience or fun. It just has to be said there, but... Thankfully, called Wild the Angler, you do keep all your gear and everything, even if the line does snap on you. Yeah, the Warden. Warden Golden Ridge Reserve works to protect the environment in the park, asks citizens to keep an eye open for invasive plants, diseased trees, malfunctioning equipment, among other things. If you see one of these objects and interact with them, let the Warden know. So there's that done. And now... It feels like they streamlined the tutorial a lot more, because I thought it went a bit differently for how the start would kind of play out. The challenge board. Well, it's different types of challenges and other calls to action. Challenge board, every outpost in the reserve has complete challenges, more will unlock. There are different types of challenges, each one involves finding a location, catching specific fish. Okay, the board also has 2 unique missions. The Golden Tour leads you around to the key locations of the reserve, while Taylor's Tackle Academy teaches the fishing mechanics in detail. These missions are recommended for new players. So I think that's where the overhaul for the early game has gone in, is Taylor's Tackle Academy. So we'll probably see about the Tackle Academy. Welcome to Taylor's Tackle Academy. In this series of missions, you'll be taught the basics of the game, 4 classes, each involving a series of objectives followed by a challenge. Recommended for beginners, you're able to follow these classes for information in between your own exploration and fishing. Class will cover float fishing, baits, and hook depth. Lesson will continue when you reach the marked location. Yeah, so that hit us up to level 2. Actually, that said new gear added to our backpack, so... Online multiplayer? Wait, what? No, I did not want to join that. Yeah, let me go to options, make sure that's not on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, putting that on by default, I guess I can see in some ways why they would want to do it, because they want it to be a multiplayer experience and to get more people trying or playing the game together. But for right now, just because of me doing my recordings and that, I want to keep single player. But it did say we got new stuff added to our backpack, and it looks like... Oh yeah, we got a lot added here, so I don't know if it came because we leveled up, or it was because we enrolled in like this next little mission we have. But where does it even let us know? Oh, okay, it's in the journal here. Yeah, so go to mark location. So we'll hit that next episode and see further. But so far, Called Wild the Angler, very familiar, but I do feel like it has streamlined the starting process a little more. So if you did feel like you wanted like no handhold tutorial to get you into the game, just play at your own pace, they have that right to the get-go. But we're going to go through the Tackle Academy, see what it offers, and then how it goes further from there, and just see what the game has with the console release. I can't recommend it enough, though, that it just feels so much better, a controller of any kind. If my gamepad didn't crap out, I did mean to try that with the game too, but coming back fresh entirely to learn the controls with it really is helping a bit. But we'll see what more is in store later on in the series, and again, keep at it for a while, because it might be a bit before we do kind of hit, if there is that lulling point in the curve a bit. But thank you guys so much for joining me on this first episode of our review, well, not review, but recheck or relook at Call of the Wild the Angler. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a like, and if you have any comments, tips, or tricks, put it in the comments right down below. Until I see you all in the next video or episode, Anglers and Survivors, please remember, as always, to take care, stay alive, and happy angling.